Hi everyone, Dr. Caudill here. So it's pronounced Caudill, like Dell Computers. And I'm going to walk you through some things about our Canvas page for Math 202. This is elementary statistics, and you're taking the summer class, the summer version of this class. So at this point, the Canvas page is published. So if you go to your main dashboard, you'll be able to see this class. And I can't see this class because I'm in student mode right now. But from your dashboard, you'll be able to see a lot of details about other classes you could be in. You may just be taking this one class this summer. This could be your first time using Canvas, so I wanted to show you some things to look at. So under courses, we're going to go to the summer version. So it's course reference number CRN is 5037. We're going to click on this. From the course homepage in Canvas, so this is our course, you'll see all the information you need to know about the course through Canvas. So again, Dr. Caudill, I do have my PhD in the area of bioanalytical chemistry. So Dr. Caudill, please. The best ways to communicate with me, you'll see my email address, so ecaudill@frc.edu. You can also use Canvas Messenger, so I check both equally. You can get to Canvas Messenger on the side here, so if you click on Inbox, you can send me a note through Canvas. Then to the right here in this table, these are my office hours for the summer. So the course is entirely asynchronous, meaning that you access the course material on your own time. The course material includes lectures like this, PowerPoint slides, student outlines, things like that. So you decide when you want to be looking at the material, when you're watching the lecture recordings. It is the summer version of this class, so it's a rather time-intensive, a rather work-intensive. It's going to be a pretty fast-paced, rapid-moving class, so keep that in mind as we're beginning this summer semester. These are my office hours. You're going to call in through the Zoom link. So if you don't have Zoom downloaded, you'll be able to download that pretty quickly if you click on this link. If you don't have it downloaded, it will take you to a place to go ahead and download Zoom for either a Mac or a PC. You can also get the Zoom app on your phone too. So every time for an office hour, you'll click through this link. It's my personal Zoom meeting room. So we can do practice problems together. You can share your screen. We can look at Excel together. So while the class is asynchronous and online, definitely make use of office hours. If you can't meet during these times, just send me a note to schedule a different time by appointment. Then as we continue to scroll down this page, we're going to see the course syllabus, which you can click on and download the course syllabus. Next to that, I will update this button for every single week. So the first button here for what's happening this week, the first link you click on for this button, you'll go to the pre-semester preparation page. So that's our first what's happening this week. For week 1, you'll click on that. It'll take you to what's happening in week 1, week 2, etc. So that will be updated each week. Some also useful features of this homepage here on the right, you'll have a to-do list, which you can use. You can X stuff out if you don't want it there. It includes any assignments coming up here. So we can see the orientation assignment in MyStatLab, which we'll get to, is here. It's due June 13th at 11:59 p.m. What else is coming up here? This calendar icon you can click on and also go to your calendar, which will be really helpful. The calendar icon means this is an event to be aware of, so not an assignment, but an event to be aware of. So last day to drop for a full refund is June 10th. This icon here is the page. It's the pre-semester preparation page. So if you click on that, you'll see all the tasks to complete, ideally before even the start of the semester. If you want to work ahead and get started, it's a good idea. And so what working ahead is going to involve is getting familiar with Canvas, knowing what is going to happen each week, knowing when your exams are, knowing when all the homework is due. So I really recommend getting started as soon as possible with this course semester. Again, because it is so fast-paced, it will be a rapid-moving class. It is a summer class that's compressed into just about 8 weeks of the semester, when typically for the fall or spring semester, this same content and the number of exams are spread out among 18 weeks. But it's an awesome benefit to get this class checked off, taken care of over the summer. You don't have to worry about it in the fall or in the spring. So as we continue to scroll down, we see this to-do list, which you can use. You can also X stuff out if you don't want it there. We keep going down. We have this calendar. We have grades. So far, we just see 25%. 25% is from your MyStatLab homework and other assessments like the student survey, like Excel assignment. So that's 25% of your grade. As you start to take exams, you'll see in exam 1 is worth 10%. So this total will go up to 35% after exam 1, for example. Then as we continue to scroll down, we see this full course summary of everything that's coming up, when, the date, the time, what is the assignment. Some of these introductory assignments are for extra credit, so you don't have to do them, but you can for extra credit. The first required assignment coming up is the syllabus and course structure quiz. So you'll click on this and take it before the end of the day on Friday, June 11th. So that first week of classes. So we continue to scroll down. We see everything that's coming up. Excel assignment number 2. There are 2 Excel assignments in total. You're going to want to download Excel right away and ideally do the add-in process right away. All of these sections, 7.1, 7.2, 5.1, 5.2, those are assignments that you'll do in MyStatLab. So that's the required material for this course. With MyStatLab, you'll complete homework assignments and exams all in MyStatLab. You can purchase access to MyStatLab all online. You can also purchase a code through the bookstore. One quick note on office hours before we go on to something different is I have a waiting room enabled, and if you're put in a waiting room, it means I'm speaking with another student. So I'll see that you're in there, and then after I'm done with that student, I'll be able to let you into the Zoom room. So if you're in a waiting room, don't worry. I'll get to you right after I finish with a different student. So just something to be aware of with office hours. Let's look at the course FAQ. So this button here on the right, if you click on that. So now that we're in the discussion boards, it's the same thing if we had clicked on this left-hand side called discussions. So if we click on that, so through discussions, let me show you there's 2 different discussion boards. We were on the course FAQ, which you can click on through the home page. There's also the student introductions discussion board. Let's go into the course FAQ first. You're going to start reading through this. Do we need to turn in completed student outlines? No. What will the class format be like? All asynchronous, but I do highly encourage you to call into Zoom office hours. What are the required materials for this course? So the textbook, which you can get through MyStatLab too. So you can buy access online to MyStatLab for your homework and exams. And through that link for MyStatLab, you can also get the ebook. So if you prefer to have an ebook over a textbook, you can do either one. So the ebook, it's all online, but it is nice to sometimes have a physical textbook. What you need at minimum is access to the textbook, either the ebook or the hardcover textbook, and you need MyStatLab. In addition to that, it may be helpful to have a calculator that's not on your cell phone. For this class, usually a TI, something like this could be better, or a calculator like this is totally fine as well. So both do the trick for what you need. You may also decide to not have a calculator at all for the class. You can do essentially all the calculations in Microsoft Excel. So in the pre-semester preparation, I will show you a link for downloading Excel for free and doing the add-ins, so installing those also for free. Then as we keep going, we get down to all about MyStatLab. So within MyStatLab, there are additional helpful resources. So let me talk through some of those. I will be posting lecture recordings for every single section. In addition to the lecture recordings I post, they do have section video lectures in MyStatLab as well. So you could use those. You can watch other videos on YouTube, of course, call into office hours. So to watch those supplemental instructional videos, you can follow these directions here. Go to that multimedia library tab and follow these directions here to find those extra videos. The other resources I want to point out is within questions, you'll see at the top right of a specific question, you can see help me solve this, view an example animation, and ask my instructor. If you use this Ask My Instructor feature, I will get the specific question that you have a question about. You can add a message to it. Hi, Dr. Caudill, I got to this point in the question, but I'm a little bit confused on part C. If you send something like that, I get that straight to my email, and then whatever email address you signed up in MyStatLab for, you'll get a response to that email address. Typical response time, usually between 24 and 48 hours, hopefully sooner because we are going to be moving pretty quickly in the summer, so I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Something important for the MyStatLab scoring is that I highly recommend you follow the set due dates and you get all your work in by the declared due dates that I have set for you. In following along on the set due dates, hopefully that will get you more prepared for the exams because the exams will look similar to the format of the homework problems in MyStatLab. So really, really try to stay up to date with all of the MyStatLab homework assignments. If you do happen to miss a due date, however, because the ultimate goal is that you learn the material, you can send me a note. In that note, you can request that past MyStatLab assignments be reopened. Hi, Dr. Caudill, I missed 1.3 and 2.2. Do you mind reopening up 1.3 and the 2.2 assignments, 2.1 assignments? Try to limit it to 2 at a time so you're still keeping up with the current material. But this gives you an opportunity to go back and work on past MyStatLab assignments for no homework penalty or no late homework penalty. But with that, I really, really encourage you to get your homework done on time and only use this as a fail-safe backup safety net if you absolutely must. Typically, the students who have done well in this class, they're keeping up with MyStatLab, they're keeping up with the lectures, they have set time each day, they watch the lectures, they work through homework problems, they note if they have a specific topic they're not quite understanding, then they come to office hours and they talk to me about those specific, very pointed questions because they've gone through the material, they've read the book, they've practiced, but there's just a few little things that are confusing or a few big things, but we talk through those in office hours. We get it worked out a couple days before the actual exam, so you have time to practice and get even more acclimated with the material before you see it on one of the 5 exams. The due dates vary in MyStatLab. You're always welcome to work ahead. Another very helpful point I will let you know about is in MyStatLab, there are always 2 practice exams for each of our 5 exams. For example, exam 1 is on a certain date. The window for exam 1 will be 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the exam 1 date. The 2 practice exams leading up to exam 1 are due usually at 8 a.m. before the start window of the exam. If you get 100% on practice exam A for exam 1, that is 10 extra credit points on exam 1. If you do both practice exams, you get hundreds on both. That is 20 extra credit points on each exam or on that respective exam that you worked on. So there's 2 practice exams for exam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even on the final. There is no late work accepted for the practice exams, but I highly recommend working on those. You can walk into each exam with already a 20 to start out with. Okay, so this is our FAQ discussion board. It's always here. If you have any other questions, let me know and I can add them to this FAQ board. The other point in the discussion is the student introductions. Again, this is for extra credit, but it's linked here. So under discussions, and then I'll show you where it's linked as well within the pages. You click on this, you fill this out, you copy and paste this into a reply, and then you get extra credit just by saying a little bit about you, maybe making other connections to people who are in this class. Maybe you're new to FRC, so you're making connections even before the fall semester begins. So that was all in this discussions tab. There's also our grades tab you can always click on the left. You can see it right here. There's a people tab, so you can see who else is in the class. The other pages I want to point out, so we're back at the home page again. We clicked on the course FAQ, which will always be there. The course syllabus we'll download to and look through together. And then again, I'll always have this button updated. So you click on the What's Happening This Week for the pre-semester preparation. You can see a list of everything you need to think about, or hopefully think about, before the semester even begins on Monday, June 7th. You want to get familiar with the syllabus, which we'll look at together in a sec, the FAQ discussion board we just went through, but feel free to look at that for more detail. Get your textbook, either the ebook or the hard copy textbook. This is what our hard copy textbook looks like. So you can pick this up on Amazon, but be cautious of picking it up used because sometimes the used versions do not come with an active MyStatLab access code. So if you pick this up, you might need to buy the MyStatLab access code separately. There's something to be aware of that you need your textbook and then definitely a MyStatLab account. So we're all good here. We're gonna go into MyStatLab. I'll show you. The syllabus has other materials you'll need, so a graphing calculator or regular calculator, scientific calculator, Microsoft Excel, and the add-ins. You should download Excel and do the add-ins right away. So as soon as possible. You will need the add-ins for your Excel assignment number 2, but go ahead and get that done. Excel assignment number 2 is not due till later in the semester, but just get this done right away. To download Excel for free, you'll click on this link and then you'll be able to put in your FRC email address. You should have an FRC email address, or if you need to, you can also get through that through the technology portion of our FRC website. So you'll put in your FRC email address and your FRC password and then download Microsoft Suite. So you have Excel, Word, PowerPoint. We're going to use Excel in this class, but it's good to have those others for future classes. If you do need help getting access to an email address, you should be able to get a lot of help clicking on the Distance Education Resources help link through the FRC main website. So these are not graded, but they're extremely necessary, important tasks to get set up with. I highly recommend, again, you download Excel right away. You do the add-ins right away. There's only 2 add-ins we'll need. They're free. And set up your MyStatLab account even before the semester begins. So get that access code. You can go through entirely online to get set up with MyStatLab. To get set up with MyStatLab, there's also a 2-week trial period. So if you are waiting on your textbook, you can do a trial period to go ahead and get started as you wait for that code to arrive. Then the one graded task at the beginning, other than your actual MyStatLab assignments and the Excel assignments, is doing the syllabus and course structure quiz. For extra credit, they're optional. You can fill out that student info discussion board I showed you and take the student survey quiz, just a little bit about you. It's entirely confidential. These are both for extra credit. For all of our course content, we can see now we're in the pages. So all of these pages will have 1 page for each week, right? So this is our pre-semester preparation week. I'll have every week as detailed as this, what we're covering, what homework is coming up, when the exams are coming up. You can also always look at exam schedule on our calendar and on the syllabus. The syllabus is where definitely the exam schedule is posted, so calendar dates will be there too. And the last bit here for at least this weekly page is we're going to click on course content under the modules. So this modules link will take you to the same place as clicking on modules here. So let's click on modules. Under modules, you'll see the course FAQ discussion board again, so linked here. The student introductions discussion board also linked here. To download Excel, get the add-ins, both are linked right here. MyStatLab registration help. There is a PDF registration document. There's also a how to register from Canvas link from the publisher. There's also changing from temporary to full access. So if you do start out with temporary access, you can switch over to full access once you have your paid access code. Then as we continue to go down, so this is our general course materials, MyStatLab info, that's the first module here. Sometimes the order of the modules will change as we start to cover different chapters, so just be aware of that, but that's the first module right now. introductory and Excel assignments. So you'll have 2 Excel assignments. The introductory assignments, you'll see the required one. The syllabus and course structure quiz is also linked here. This is again due on that Friday, June 11th. That's the end of our first week. Optional extra credit assignments also linked here. The 2 Excel assignments, which are required, they're part of your homework grade, they're linked right here. You can work ahead on any of this material. It will make more sense to sort of follow along with the due dates, but Excel assignment number 1, you could start on pretty quickly in the semester if you wanted to. So the assignment description with very thorough directions and a place to upload your assignment is linked right here. You'll notice Excel assignment number 1 is not due until Friday, June 25th. Again, you can always work ahead if you'd like. Once you're in the assignment, you'll be able to download the assignment directions. There is a late work policy on the Excel assignments, not on the MyStatLab assignments, but on the Excel assignments, they are due by this specific date to keep you updated and comfortable using Excel. You want to do that in a timely manner because Excel will be very useful in this class on homework, on exams. I posted a rubric as well, so if you get your assignment ready and you want to just make sure you're going to get the best grade you want to get, you walk through this and see, okay, I did do all of that. I think I'll get 10 out of 10. So you can look at that, upload your assignment there. Going back to modules here, we'll look at Excel assignment number 2. You can see that's linked right here as well. So those will always be there. You can access those at any time. Excel assignment number 2 is helpful to wait because it does involve more complex material that we get to a little bit later in the semester. You'll notice then after these sort of introductory modules, and you can always minimize these too if they're taking up more space, you can minimize these. And then you'll see that chapter 1 material is already posted. Chapter 2 material is already posted. Chapter 3 material as well. There's some Excel tips for your chapter 3 homework. So really it's all organized, at least chapter 1, 2, and 3 are already ready for you to start with if you want to go ahead and get the ball rolling on this fast-paced statistics semester. Once we're done with chapters 1, 2, and 3, I'll probably move chapter 4 further up towards the top. So just be aware that the order can change a little bit, but I'll try to make everything as clear as it can be. So our introductory and Excel assignments, and then clearly denoting the chapter right here. We've gone through each of these now, except the MyLab and Mastering tab. This is how you're going to access MyStatLab for homework and for exams. So you'll go to this tab, go here, and from this, you'll be able to work on all your homework assignments. You can watch those extra lectures that are provided by MyStatLab. You can use that Ask My Instructor feature, the Help Me Solve This, view an example. So you want to get familiar with MyStatLab very quickly, get your account ready, use the temporary access code if you need to, if you don't have a paid code quite yet. Then also here on the left, part of the required quiz, adding a profile picture here. So you'll be able to do that. Then a dashboard will show all your classes. The courses, again, just our summer course, unless you're enrolled in another course, but you might just be in this one, which is smart because it is going to be rather work intensive, rather time intensive. Again, it's a 17-18 week compressed into an 8-week class, but I know you can do it. If it's your only class to focus on, get it knocked out this summer. Your future self will definitely thank you. Another thing here on the left is looking at the calendar. So the calendar can be really helpful as well if you like to view it on a monthly or a weekly basis, or even the agenda view. So we can see, okay, so pre-semester, that weekly page, a to-do list due by 8 a.m. on the first day, downloading Excel, downloading or getting your account set up in MyStatLab, that's all in here. The student info survey, all of the first set of MyStatLab assignments are due on Sunday, June 13th, so know that that's coming up. So really make use of this calendar view. You can look at when exam 1 is taking place. Like I mentioned, it would be in the calendar. If you go back to the month view, you can look at it this way. So this is for our elementary stats calendar. You can also be adding stuff to your personal calendar that no one else can see except you. So you can add different events as yourself and just maybe stuff that will help remind you to do various tasks for FRC. So keep that in mind. The calendar tool is really helpful as well. I think we're ready to look at the syllabus together now. So I'm going to go back to our course. There's a few different ways you can get back to this homepage. I'm going to click on this link to download the course syllabus. So here's a pretty basic view, very similar material that's on the Canvas page, but my office hours, that waiting room feature, the required books that you're going to need, what the asynchronous format looks like. So we're not meeting at any specific times. You just need to keep up with the material on your own. We keep going down. There's a course description. This is a transfer eligible class. So if you go onto a four-year institution, this class is a transfer eligible class. Keep going down, our student learning outcomes that we will fulfill by the end of the summer semester. Course structure, use of Canvas, how important using a computer and the internet is going to be taking this class online through distance education. We do have some computers to loan out, so if you need something like that, there is somebody, Stacy, who works with student services. She can be extremely helpful, but if you need to get connected to somebody like that, let me know. If you can't find that information on our FRC website, let me know. You'll be able to download Zoom for when we meet in office hours. Hopefully you attend office hours. Announcements, course communication, everything will be very situated on our Canvas page and our MyStatLab page. The grading categories are here. So as mentioned, the homework and the Excel assignments and that student survey quiz, the course structure quiz and the extra credit, they'll all fit into this category, so 25%. Then the exams, there are 5 of them. They're worth 10% each. There are 5, so they happen pretty quickly, but there is a benefit to them happening fairly quickly. So while we have 5 exams, it's a lot in the semester. There's less material that you need to be comfortable with on each exam. Exam 5, for example, is just on Chapter 10, Section 1, 10.2, and 10.4. So 3 sections worth on one exam. So they are more frequent, but there is less material that you cover that you need to be familiar with between each exam. The final exam is 25%. It is cumulative, so that'll be, of course, at the end of the semester. Here's more on those helpful resources connected to MyStatLab that's also in our FAQ discussion board. There are no makeup exams allowed in this class. If there is a valid excuse, your final exam grade can count as one of your exam grades, but there are no makeup exams in this class. If you do need to take the exam at a different time and you know that something is coming up, you may take the exam early as long as you give me as much heads up as you possibly can. Alternate exam times must be requested 48 hours in advance to possibly take the exam earlier. If you give me that much of a notice, you'll be able to take the exam before the designated scheduled time. I mentioned the extra credit here. Those practice exams are going to be in MyStatLab. So for extra credit that you're all gonna do to get up to 20 points on each exam, those are in MyStatLab due before the start of the exam. So do it 8 a.m. for everybody. If you miss an exam, your final exam grade can count as a missed exam grade, but if you took all the exams, your final exam grade can actually replace your lowest exam grade. Let's say you got a 65 because you had a lot going on that week on exam 3, and you get an 85 on the final exam. That 85 will count as your exam 3 grade. So it will completely replace that 65. It'll count as a final exam grade. The grade will only replace your lowest exam grade if it helps your overall course average. So this is to say that maybe you really built up mastery, you didn't do as well in exam 3, but you really learned that material. Your final exam grade will show that your cumulative mastery over the semester. So It's really important that if you do well in the final, that will be rewarded by replacing your lowest exam grade. With the final exam, that also needs to be taken at the designated scheduled time, which we'll get to on the schedule in just a second. Here's the grading breakdown. So FRC does follow the plus-minus system. Some things to read through here. So the role of the student, the role of me, some general tips for success. I really recommend staying on top of the material, reading the book, watching the recordings, coming to office hours if you need to. There are some resources on campus too, so I put that in the pre-semester page towards the end. So TRIO, EOPS, there's lots of resources on campus. The IRC is not open in the summer, but there is something called Net Tutor, and I'll show you that as we're finishing looking at the syllabus together. Again, Dr. Caudill is how you can address me. I like to learn your names. If you go by something else, I want to know that. Then the college-wide policies on diversity, student rights, getting an incomplete, disability accommodations are of course available, anti-sexual harassment or sexual assault policies, general mental health resources. We have lots of resources like this on campus, so if you have any questions, want help getting connected, looking through the FRC website is one way. Also, feel free to let me know. As we continue to scroll down, you will see the tentative course lecture schedule, when you should be expecting to look at 1.1 material, 1.2, all the different sections. Again, it does move fast because we're in a summer semester. I've also put all the exams here when Excel assignment number 1 is due, exam 2. If anything changes, I will let you know as quickly as I can or as promptly as I can. The exam window, you'll notice, is open from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. Usually the allowed exam time ranges from 75 to 90 minutes. It's usually about 80 minutes. So once you get started, you have 80 minutes. You have to take the exam between 8 a.m. and noon. It doesn't have to be right at 8 a.m., but keep that in mind. We go down here and we see the final exam is actually scheduled for Sunday, August 1st. Sunday, August 1st, between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., you'll have usually 2 or 3 hours, between 2 and 3 hours to complete the final exam. If you cannot take the final on this day at this time, you need to take it on Friday, you need to take it on Saturday. Let me know as soon as possible in the semester about this final exam time. Notice that exam 5 is that Wednesday of the last week of classes. You can definitely take the final that Friday night if you need to, Saturday if you need to. So if you need to take it early, again, let me know as soon as possible. Let's look at Net Tutor. So if we click on this online student resources, I go into a new tab. There is this Net Tutor option, and so you can click on this, get some help. And so that's another resource for you too, other than lecture recordings, the textbook, office hours, things like that. For each section, I just want to show you what you'll have available to you. So for example, chapter 1, section 1, you have a lecture recording that's on YouTube. You'll have a copy of the slides that I used to present that material. And you'll have this student outline that you don't need to turn in. It's to help guide your note-taking along the way as you watch the recording and read the textbook. Sometimes I'll put in some extra Excel tips. So like your MyStatLab homework for 2.1, for example, click on that. Maybe there's some helpful information. So here, for example, how to copy and paste data into Excel from MyStatLab. How to find the sum of all your values. So I put in screenshots like this so you can go through Excel, hopefully get really comfortable, start to really like it for use of this class. How to drag and select different data sets, how to sort your data. So check out what's along the way in those modules, and hopefully you'll find different information like this helpful as you're doing your homework, as you're getting more comfortable with the material. So I think that's it for our Canvas page. If you have anything else you have questions about, let me know. And really what I recommend doing is starting at that what's happening this week button. Anytime you come on, you click on that. Every day it'll show you what section we're on, when the homework is due. Start working on this material right now, even before the semester begins. Then just to give you a little bit more background on me, I'll just quickly go through these slides and I will post these for you as well. So again, Dr. Caudill, so like Dell Computers. And a little bit about me, I grew up in Texas. I got my undergrad in chemistry, a minor in biology from St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. After that, I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. I worked on Febreze through the company Procter & Gamble. Then I went on to get my PhD in the area of bioanalytical chemistry from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Big Badgers fan, Packers as well. Then I went and taught for 1 year at a small school in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. And now we're here in California, so we're excited to be in California. We're in Quincy. This is the end of my first year of teaching here, so it's officially been 1 year, basically, that we've lived in Quincy. So again, we're really liking the area here. We like going around California, taking road trips, being outside in general. So we're really liking the area. We like being in Quincy. Definitely happy to be out of the Midwest weather. We're excited to be in the California community, especially Quincy, how welcoming it's been. On the Canvas page, we've gone through these resources together. So the Zoom link for office hours, that waiting room feature, required materials, discussion board, resources, MyStatLab, policy on MyStatLab, things like that. One thing you're going to want to do in Canvas also pretty quickly is to set up your notification settings. For some things, you're going to want to know right away or get an email notification about it. So definitely like announcements, but you can customize these however you want. Do you want to know right away through an email, daily summary, weekly summary? I recommend to do some of these notify me right aways because again, it's a shorter summer semester that moves faster. In the syllabus, you'll look through that as well. All the class and college-wide policies, course description, learning outcomes, our tentative course schedule that if it changes or we need to push an exam back, I'll notify you as soon as possible. We're going to try to stick with that schedule essentially as it's stated. So expect for that to be the final schedule. The grade breakdown, information about the final, things like that, general tips that are also in the syllabus. You're going to want really strong Wi-Fi or definitely secure access to the internet, especially taking an online class. Send me messages because we're all online. Email communication and written communication are even more important. So, hi, Dr. Caudill. I have a question about 2.1. Try to be as specific as possible, especially because a lot of our communication will just be through online messages and not face-to-face. So use clarity, and I try to get back as soon as I possibly can to those messages. Take ownership of your learning, stay on top of the material, do those practice exams for extra credit. That is a huge opportunity that you should definitely take advantage of. So positive attitude, hard work, seek out help when you need it, set aside time every single day for the course, multiple hours per day, depends on how much you want to get out of the course, how comfortable you want to feel with the material going into the exams, but you'll pretty much have a lot of the material ahead of time. So even at the beginning of the week, you'll have all the material you need for the whole week. So you can take initiative and work ahead as much as you want to. Also, be checking Canvas and email and Canvas Messenger all the time, so very regularly, especially with a distance education class like this one is going to be. Again, don't fall behind. Do your very best to stay on top of the lectures, reading the textbook if that's how you learn. Stay on top of the sections because it does move fast and the final exam at the end is cumulative. Again, it is asynchronous, so you'll be able to access the material on your own time. You do need to take the exams at the set time, but you can watch recordings whenever it makes sense to you. You can work on MyStatLab also whenever it makes sense to you. So there's directions for getting into that on Canvas. I showed you clicking on that My Lab and Mastering tab on the left. gets you to MyStatLab. One view of what MyStatLab looks like once you're in MyStatLab. Everything is pretty intuitive, how to find the practice exams, the homework, the actual exams when it's time to take those. That will all be in MyStatLab. These are the features I mentioned, so you can do that. View an example, help me solve this, ask my instructor. So make use of these helpful tools within MyStatLab. Those videos that I mentioned and these steps for finding them are here. Those can be nice supplemental videos to watch to even help you more solidify the material that you're seeing in class. Another good way, of course, is working on your homework. So practicing and doing will help instill that knowledge that you read about or you watch. The exams, like I mentioned, there are 5 of them, but there's less material that you need to learn between each exam, and your lowest exam score can be replaced by your final exam grade. So there's some room, there's some wiggle room here. The other huge, again, suggestion is to do the extra credit. To take advantage of that is highly suggested. I look at the very end. What effort did the student make? Did they do those opportunities for extra credit? Are they really putting all themselves out there to do the very best they can? And so on the course syllabus, we saw that schedule. We don't cover every single section in every chapter that we're covering. For example, chapter 10 is just 10.1, 10.2, and 10.4. We don't cover 10.3. So you will not be tested over sections that we don't cover in lecture. Those practice exams too, again, up to 20 points extra credit for exam 1, 2, 3, 4, and even the final exam. So again, I recommend doing those without a doubt. For the exams, I recommend having a calculator and Excel. You can do a lot in Excel without a calculator, but you do at minimum need Excel. Your calculator can't quite do everything that we need it to do in this class. You'll need to rely on Microsoft Excel. All exams will be taken individually. Absolutely no academic misconduct of any kind will be accepted. A little bit about my teaching style. You learn a little bit about me. So the class is rigorous and how it's designed because it's transfer eligible. Again, we need to fill certain requirements. We need to cover certain material. It's the nature of the statistics class, but you'll be so happy once you get it checked off your list and you've completed it. Fairness, so my goal is to be fair to each student as well. I expect you to be fully involved and engaged, and I can see how much time you're spending in Canvas and when you're completing homework. So I expect you to be engaged and interacting with all the course material throughout the whole summer semester. Stay up to date with Canvas. Again, I try to be as organized as possible. It's due to the analytical chemist nature that I have. So as a trained analytical chemist, try to be as organized as possible. If you can't find certain things, definitely let me know. But again, I try to make that sort of a one-stop shop for discussion board posts, all your assignments you can access through MyStatLab, what's coming up when. So definitely be checking Canvas, get really comfortable with Canvas. If I do make mistakes, also let me know if you think something looks incorrect. That happens, so I appreciate you letting me know if you see something like that. Overall, I want you to succeed and feel comfortable in the class. You know where material is, you know what to do, what to expect again. If this is your first semester at FRC, then welcome and also congratulations for embarking on this journey of college. I'm going to feel excited about college in general, what comes next. For seeking out help, definitely check the syllabus, our Canvas page. See if there are other students in the class that you may know or you would like to partner up with on certain things. Working on homework together is totally fine. Again, exams need to be taken separately. But of course, it can be really useful to know somebody else in the class, work with them on homework, not on the exams, but work with somebody else. When is that exam? Just keep each other on top of it this summer, especially since we won't be in the physical classroom space together. Also, those campus resources I mentioned, ask me, ask other students in the class, attend office hours. Look for resources on campus too, so just get really acclimated with what FRC has to offer. Get comfortable attending office hours, looking through Canvas. If you do need to go to campus at any point for disability services, those are open in the summer. Usually masks are going to be required unless something changes. So we're still being safe on campus until we know otherwise, if we can not wear a mask and things like that. So something to be aware of if you're heading towards campus is masks are still required, at least at this time. What's coming up that's due is in Canvas. It's on that page on the calendar too, but that syllabus and course structure quiz, the optional student info survey and discussion board post. You can always click on that What's Happening This Week button to find out more. Get registered in MyStatLab, download Excel right away, get yourself set up for success even before the first day of classes. And so when you're getting into MyStatLab, directions for getting that set up are on Canvas too, and I showed you how to click on that link on the left. The first MyStatLab assignments are due on Sunday, June 13th, so that is coming up, so go ahead and get your account right away, even the temporary access code. Just get yourself set up for that so you can start working through those assignments. So that's the end of what I have. If you have any questions, let me know. Come into office hours, call into office hours, I should say. So Zoom into office hours. And I'm looking forward to the summer semester. Again, congratulations for being in this class and wanting to get this class taken care of. I will talk to you all soon. You can start on chapter 1 material and have an excellent rest of your day whenever you're watching this.